Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
An investment that is very risky but could yield great profits. Proceed somewhere despite the risk of possible dangers. We ventured into the world of high-tech and bought a supercomputer. Put at risk. Put forward, of a guess, in spite of possible refutation. A commercial undertaking that risks a loss but promises a profit. Any venturesome undertaking, especially one with an uncertain outcome. An investment that is very risky but could yield great profits. He knew the stock was a speculation when he bought it. A message expressing an opinion based on incomplete evidence. A hypothesis that has been formed by speculating or conjecturing, usually with little hard evidence. Speculations about the outcome of the election. Continuous and profound contemplation or musing on a subject or series of subjects of a deep or abstruse nature. Proceed somewhere despite the risk of possible dangers. Set out on, an enterprise or subject of study. She embarked upon a new career. Go on board. Take a risk in the hope of a favorable outcome. Put at risk. A wild and exciting undertaking, not necessarily lawful. Take a risk in the hope of a favorable outcome. A source of danger, a possibility of incurring loss or misfortune. Drinking alcohol is a health hazard. Put at risk. An unknown and unpredictable phenomenon that causes an event to result one way rather than another. Put forward, of a guess, in spite of possible refutation. An obstacle on a golf course. Pose a threat to. Present a danger to. Put at risk. Mark with a stake. Stake out the path. The money risked on a gamble. A pole or stake set up to mark something, as the start or end of a racetrack. The corner of the lot was indicated by a stake. Put at risk. I will stake my good reputation for this. Kill by piercing with a spear or sharp pole. Law. A right or legal share of something, a financial involvement with something. A stake in the company's future. Place a bet on. A strong wooden or metal post with a point at one end so it can be driven into the ground. Instrument of execution consisting of a vertical post that a victim is tied to for burning. Tie or fasten to a stake. Stake your goat. An estimate based on little or no information. Guess correctly. Solve by guessing. He guessed the right number of beans in the jar and won the prize. Judge tentatively or form an estimate of quantities or time. Expect, believe, or suppose. I guess she is angry at me for standing her up. A message expressing an opinion based on incomplete evidence. Put forward, of a guess, in spite of possible refutation. I am guessing that the price of real estate will rise again. Behave unnaturally or affectedly. The enactment of a pretense. It was just pretend. Represent fictitiously, as in a play, or pretend to be or act like. State insincerely. She pretended not to have known the suicide bomber. Imagined as in a play. dangling their legs in the water to catch pretend fish. Make believe with the intent to deceive. Put forward, of a guess, in spite of possible refutation. I cannot pretend to say that you are wrong. Put forward a claim and assert right or possession of. Pretend the title of king. Money that is invested with an expectation of profit. Money that is invested with an expectation of profit. The ceremonial act of clothing someone in the insignia of an office. The formal promotion of a person to an office or rank. The act of investing. Laying out money or capital in an enterprise with the expectation of profit. Outer layer or covering of an organ or part or organism. The act of putting on robes or vestments. The commitment of something other than money, time, energy, or effort, to a project with the expectation of some worthwhile result. This job calls for the investment of some hard thinking. Give an incentive for action. This moved me to sacrifice my career. Be in a state of action. Change location. Move, travel, or proceed, also metaphorically. The soldiers moved towards the city in an attempt to take it before night fell. The act of changing location from one place to another. The movement of people from the farms to the cities. Cause to move or shift into a new position or place, both in a concrete and in an abstract sense. The director moved more responsibilities onto his new assistant. Perform an action, or work out or perform an action. We must move quickly. The act of changing your residence or place of business. They say that 3 moves equal 1 fire. Have a turn. Make one's move in a game. Have an emotional or cognitive impact upon. Follow a procedure or take a course. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. Movement as a sign of life. Progress by being changed. Propose formally, in a debate or parliamentary meeting. Arouse sympathy or compassion in. Her fate moved us all. Change residence, affiliation, or place of employment. We moved from Idaho to Nebraska. Dispose of by selling. The chairman of the company told the salesman to move the computers. Game. A player's turn to take some action permitted by the rules of the game. Go or proceed from one point to another. The debate moved from family values to the economy. Live one's life in a specified environment. She moves in certain circles only. Move so as to change position, perform a non-translational motion. He moved his hand slightly to the right. The act of deciding to do something. He didn't make a move to help. Follow a certain course. Continue a certain state, condition, or activity. Continue talking. Follow a procedure or take a course. Move ahead. Travel onward in time or space. We proceeded towards Washington. Follow a certain course. How did your interview go? Have a particular form. As the saying goes. Move away from a place into another direction. Perform as expected when applied. The washing machine won't go unless it's plugged in. Change location. move, travel, or proceed, also metaphorically. How fast does your new car go? Be in the right place or situation. Let's put healthcare where it belongs, under the control of the government. A usually brief attempt. A board game for two players who place counters on a grid. The object is to surround and so capture the opponent's counters. Pass from physical life and lose all bodily attributes and functions necessary to sustain life. Make a certain noise or sound. Lead, extend, or afford access. This door goes to the basement. Street names for methylenedioxymethamphetamine. Continue to live and avoid dying. Begin or set in motion. Ready, set, go. Stop operating or functioning. To be spent or finished. The money had gone after a few days. A time period for working, after which you will be relieved by someone else. It's my go. Blend or harmonize. This sofa won't go with the chairs. Go through in search of something. Search through someone's belongings in an unauthorized way. Enter or assume a certain state or condition. Get going. Have a turn. Make one's move in a game. Can I go now? Give support to, or make a choice of, one out of a group or number. Stretch out over a distance, space, time, or scope. Run or extend between 2 points or beyond a certain point. His knowledge doesn't go very far. Follow a procedure or take a course. We should go farther in this matter. Be the right size or shape. Fit correctly or as desired. Progress by being changed. The speech has to go through several more drafts. Be abolished or discarded. These ugly billboards have to go. Be or continue to be in a certain condition. Be ranked or compare. This violinist is as good as Juilliard-trained violinists go. Be spent. Functioning correctly and ready for action. All systems are go. Pass, fair, or elapse, of a certain state of affairs or action. How is it going? The probability of becoming infected given that exposure to an infectious agent has occurred. Take a risk in the hope of a favorable outcome. Exposed to a chance of loss or damage. We risked losing a lot of money in this venture. A venture undertaken without regard to possible loss or injury. He saw the rewards but not the risks of crime. A source of danger, a possibility of incurring loss or misfortune. The probability of being exposed to an infectious agent. Exposed to a chance of loss or damage. Exposed to a chance of loss or damage. Invest at a risk. To believe especially on uncertain or tentative grounds. Reflect deeply on a subject. Philosophers have speculated on the question of God for thousands of years. Talk over conjecturally, or review in an idle or casual way and with an element of doubt or without sufficient reason to reach a conclusion. The activity of providing goods and services involving financial and commercial and industrial aspects. An enterprise connected with commerce. A commercial or industrial enterprise and the people who constitute it. He bought his brother's business. Incidental activity performed by an actor for dramatic effect. His business with the cane was hilarious. The principal activity in your life that you do to earn money. He's not in my line of business. Business concerns collectively. Government and business could not agree. Customers collectively. The activity of providing goods and services involving financial and commercial and industrial aspects. Computers are now widely used in business. An immediate objective. Gossip was the main business of the evening. A rightful concern or responsibility. It's none of your business. The volume of commercial activity. Business is good today. The activity of providing goods and services involving financial and commercial and industrial aspects. A social class comprising those who do manual labor or work for wages. There is a shortage of skilled labor in this field. Any piece of work that is undertaken or attempted. The federal department responsible for promoting the working conditions of wage earners in the United States, created in 1913. Concluding state of pregnancy. From the onset of contractions to the birth of a child. She was in labor for 6 hours. An organized attempt by workers to improve their status by united action, particularly via labor unions, or the leaders of this movement. Strive and make an effort to reach a goal. A political party formed in Great Britain in 1900, characterized by the promotion of labor's interests and formerly the socialization of key industries. Productive work, especially physical work done for wages. His labor did not require a great deal of skill. Work hard. Undergo the efforts of childbirth. Any piece of work that is undertaken or attempted. He prepared for great undertakings. The trade of a funeral director. A specific piece of work required to be done as a duty or for a specific fee. The endless task of classifying the samples. Any piece of work that is undertaken or attempted. Use to the limit. Assign a task to. I tasked him with looking after the children. Any piece of work that is undertaken or attempted. Extend out or project in space. Make or work out a plan for, devise. Put or send forth. A planned undertaking. Imagine. Conceive of. See in one's mind. Present for consideration, examination, criticism, etc. The candidate projects himself as a moderate and a reformer. Regard as objective. Throw, send, or cast forward. Project a missile. Cause to be heard. His voice projects well. Communicate vividly. He projected his feelings. Draw a projection of. Project on a screen. The images are projected onto the screen. Transfer, ideas or principles, from one domain into another. Take a risk in the hope of a favorable outcome. A risky act or venture. Money that is risked for possible monetary gain. Play games for money. A massive monument with a square base and 4 triangular sides, begun by Cheops around 2700 BC as royal tombs in ancient Egypt. A polyhedron having a polygonal base and triangular sides with a common vertex. Arrange or build up as if on the base of a pyramid. Enlarge one's holdings on an exchange on a continued rise by using paper profits as margin to buy additional amounts. Increase rapidly and progressively step by step on a broad base. Stock market. A series of transactions in which the speculator increases his holdings by using the rising market value of those holdings as margin for further purchases. Use or deal in, as of stock or commercial transaction, in a pyramid deal. Law. Compensation in excess of actual damages, a form of punishment awarded in cases of malicious or willful misconduct. Money bet or invested by experienced gamblers or investors, especially if they have inside information. People who are highly experienced or who have inside information. The smart money said Truman would lose the election. Imagine to be the case or true or probable. I surmised that the butler did it. A message expressing an opinion based on incomplete evidence. Infer from incomplete evidence. Regard something as probable or likely. Make a prediction about. Tell in advance. Be excited or anxious about. Act in advance of. Deal with ahead of time. Realize beforehand. Be a forerunner of or occur earlier than. This composition anticipates Impressionism. Imagine to be the case or true or probable. I suspect he is a fugitive. A person or institution against whom an action is brought in a court of law. The person being sued or accused. Not as expected. Her motives were suspect. Regard as untrustworthy. Regard with suspicion. Have no faith or confidence in. Hold in suspicion. Believed to be guilty. The U.S. suspected bin Laden as the mastermind behind the terrorist attacks. Someone who is under suspicion.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.